All right, welcome to the latest edition of the FPL America podcast. This is David Smith.
Travis Hoig.
Brian Chesko.
Well done, Brian.
AKA
what are you sporting? You are sporting. It's not the first time you've worn it on this pod. This is the Pittsburgh Steagles for one or two seasons. The Steelers and Eagles combined up for an actual team. This is facts. This is not me and Brian making this up.
World War II.
Brian has a Steagles shirt in honor of...
The best I can do on short notice. I own this shirt. Steel City, great T-shirt maker in Pittsburgh, has this shirt available for the few people in Pittsburgh who are willing to wear Kelly green.
Yeah.
To combine their love of the Eagles and the
Steelers and the Eagles.
Since I have no emotional attachment to the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though they're my team, I very much was emotionally invested, like many other people were, in the Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
All right, so let's grind through that quickly. I have a amazing middle school girls basketball story to tell, but I know Travis doesn't.
Again?
I mean, yeah. Travis, you
actually
want to know about
that
this.
Way you can talk. We can see exactly how long he talks about it.
I think the Super Bowl's gonna trump it. Like,
don't say Trump.
Well, that was sorry. Maybe a bad choice of words there. Maybe it was on purpose. So let's
That's cold.
Look, we are Americans. This is the FPL America podcast. One of the biggest nights in sports in our country throughout the entire year is the Super Bowl, whether you actually like the teams playing or not. I don't like either team.
Hey, Messi was there, so it's probably good.
Right. So either way, you're going to a Super Bowl party where there is good food, there's good drink, you're hanging out, You're watching funny commercials. Maybe you're just taking a night off and staying at home by yourself. But chances are you had an option, most do, to get together on some level with your friends and family to celebrate a Super Bowl party. Again, a game goes on, but people really get together for the food. I mean, yes, I'm sure there's obviously fans of the teams. There's a lot of Eagles fans. There's a lot of bandwagon Chiefs fans out there.
I was going to say this was not quite Brady era Patriots hatred, but it was close.
It was very close.
It's boiling. It's not. It will take a lot to really get to where the Patriots were, but it's up there.
They're close.
It's getting
They're close. Anyways, it wasn't even a game. It was a game for maybe a quarter, and they tried. The referees tried that first pass interference offensive to this is not an NFL podcast, to give that to the Eagles.
I hit the table, and I said, I can't believe already this is happening, and my wife said, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. I said the same thing, and we were in different places. That's amazing. So anyways, I am not an Eagles fan, but I am way less of a Chiefs fan. I really enjoyed watching them lose. Although credit to them, what they've done over the last 4 to 5 years is actually extremely impressive. No one has ever had a shot to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. And they had a shot, and they didn't do it, but they are truly a very well-run program, and they have a fantastic quarterback, and they got a ton of good players. So there's that. Anyways, all right. One thing that you might indulge
I was going to say, I don't
in Super Bowls parties is, there's tons of, I could ask you guys, what's your favorite Super Bowl snack? Is it wings? Is it Totino's pizza rolls? Is it meatballs? Is it pigs in a blanket? Like, what exactly is your go-to pizza?
That was good.
Or,
that's a good list.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Also, what you might find at a Super Bowl party is cookies. And you probably might have found Oreos. We have had an ongoing Oreo debate on this pod about what is better and what is best.
I see him.
Travis showed up today with double stuffed Oreos, gluten-free double stuffed Oreos, and a special treat, which I have been waiting to try as I have not tried them yet, the Post Malone Specialty Current Oreo. Posty swirled salted caramel and shortbread flavored cream.
Post Malone's got that. He's got his own flavor of poppy soda.
I don't like poppy soda, and I'm a seltzer guy. I'm a sparkling.
Post Malone's getting his. I don't know if I want his fingers in more of my food.
Well, I'm gonna try.
He's gonna eat that
live on air here.
What I want you to do.
Hold on. I want to give you.
Oh yeah, let's all eat one of these.
Let's have a Post Malone.
Cheers to Post Malone. Wait, how do you eat these?
I think you just stick it in your mouth.
Know what I'm saying? Do you take them apart and?
Well, number one, we're not truly experiencing Oreos because we don't have any milk down here. That is an epic fail. I'm going to bite.
Yeah, sorry. This is a weird looking cookie. Wow, the sounds on this are terrible.
I usually go half.
Backing away.
That's good. I like that.
It is very good.
Good job, Post Malone. You know what? I might get this tattooed somewhere on my body now just because of that.
I know.
He knows what he's doing.
His tattoo grease really makes this. It brings out
that is really good.
Something in it.
I would love to hammer that.
I'm
and
a
say
fan.
That's not good.
Hey, is that better than cookies and cookies and cream? Cookie dough? What was the one?
For me, it's not better than cookie.
It's not better than
Brookie.
Yeah,
Brookie. That's what it was.
Brookie is.
It's not better than that.
That's not pretty good.
That was very good.
Here's
the
gauntlet though, Brian. We're pretty sure you've had these before, but there's a pretty strong debate here. Dave and I are on team gluten-free.
It's true.
Not because gluten. I don't care. Whatever. Give me some bread. But because I just think it's better.
It actually is a better cookie.
League Diane
says
it's hot trash.
Yep. She came on Slack, the Slack
here's
channel,
what I need
with
you
a
to
video
do.
message and said, "Guys, it's hot trash."
Here's what I need you to do. I want you to blind this. You got to blind this. Close your eyes and put these in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to try. There are two cookies in your hand.
Okay.
Okay. I want you to try them, and I want you to tell me which one you think is better.
Okay.
And let me see. Okay. I want to make sure I can see which one that is. Okay.
Let's let him take it in for a second,
right.
Travis. I'm thinking about
texture, crispiness, flavor.
I bit the inside of my cheek earlier today, and I nicked it again.
Iron,
on, and I wanted to kill myself.
Okay, these are all good thoughts when you're eating an Oreo. Okay, so
I like this. He's going to eat half of one.
Wash that down. Clear your palate.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any pickles? Anybody have any parsley?
I have some saltines for you.
Really?
No. This is not that serious. All right, second cookie.
I need to get a palate cleanser here.
Are you getting any?
You gave me two of the same cookies. Trick question.
It was a trick question. Good job. All right, here's the real second cookie.
That's wicked annoying.
Dave made me do that.
That's wicked annoying. I don't know which one.
Stop looking at it.
I don't know which one.
I
don't know which one he actually gave him though. I said give him the same of the two of the same one.
We are an FPL podcast. We'll be talking about Fantasy Premier League.
No.
I don't know.
Right now,
I have a ton to say. I Bobby Knighted in a middle school girls basketball game. Do you want to know the story?
You choked someone?
I did not choke anyone. I did not. That's Carlissimo and Spreewell.
No, Bobby choked somebody.
I never. No, I did not choke anyone.
Somebody. All right, that's cookie number 2. What are we getting here, Brian? Exhibit A, Exhibit B. Very different.
Know.
You have some conflicting feelings.
Yeah.
Tell me about cookie B that you just consumed. What did you think about it?
Did you notice anything out of whack on the first 2 bites that you had?
No, it's just that there was a much. It could be because of the first cookie, but there was a much more pronounced cookie flavor when I ate the second one.
Like the second cookie?
No, like the second. This one.
So your third one
that I just bit into.
Much more of a cookie flavor.
There was something that was way more like, I don't know if it was the chocolatiness of it, almost
Interesting.
like a chalkiness to it.
Okay.
It was much different.
I like it.
Like now I'm tasting hints of pencil shavings and and bark.
Yes.
Wow.
I do believe those are ingredients. All right. So which one do you prefer? The first one or the second one? Stop looking at it.
I don't know. I can't tell. I think. All
right. So here,
I'll just say that the first cookie there was nothing unenjoyable about the first cookie eating experience.
But there is something unenjoyable about the second one because it tastes like pencil shavings.
No, I'm just saying it was distinct. It was very different in terms of the consistency of the
Which
cookie.
one did you like better at this point?
I don't know. I'll just say I would not say I did not like either of them.
All right, so neither of them are hot trash.
No, neither. It's not like either of them. I was like, no, get this away from me. This tastes like
You're gonna finish
like
those
I'm biting
later,
into
right?
a raw tomato or something.
You're gonna finish all those, or you're just gonna leave those slobbered on cookies over there?
Oh, I'm gonna eat this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the first one was the gluten-free one.
No, the first one was regular.
Oh.
I didn't know.
You
this
could
is
not tell the
great.
different.
The first one was the regular cookie?
I
Yes,
didn't. I don't know.
100%, yes.
I knew he set him over there. I didn't look at which ones
Yes.
he picked. So I was
the regular one is a little bit darker than the gluten free. Gluten free is a little bit lighter.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just like the first one eating it was very natural. It was very like,
Travis.
normal.
These are your stacks.
The second one,
that one right there, is
Regular gluten free.
That's what I'm saying. The
I
second,
thought that. I think you
You
have
sure?
that backwards.
I'm saying
I have it backwards. I think you're right.
You just took you. That's no. You're right.
That's the same, isn't it?
No. You had it backwards.
oh my
I'm gonna inspect these.
I can now actually visually see the difference if you hold them up
Can
next to
you?
each other. Yeah.
There's a.
There's a
This
hint.
one has holes in it. This one doesn't.
One looks a little darker. The gluten-free look darker a little bit.
I got it. Yep. This one's got. This is the regular with the like extra holes in it. See how it's got those 3 dots?
Ah,
This one does not have 3 dots. That's the gluten free. Interesting.
People are wondering, are they actually going to get to any FPL stuff? The answer is yes. But look, for those
We ate
of
a
you
bunch
out
of
there,
cookies.
and
It
I
was
haven't had
great.
dinner, I'm going to continue to eat cookies throughout this.
are you going to give us a story about the thing, or do you want to just set up what we're doing?
No,
what we're doing today?
we've wasted too much time. I know.
No,
the
I wanna
story.
hear it. I want to hear it. You know what? I want to hear it.
Tell it at the end.
No, yeah. Well, no, because you
No,
talk
no,
about
no.
Arsenal at the end.
I'm not kidding. We'll save it till later. I do want to say this. So I don't know if either one of you have friends that you keep up with from high school, and or elementary school. I have friends that I'm on a Marco Polo thread. One of them is actually watches and listens. He went back and like literally watched. He doesn't care about soccer, but I told him about it. David, how you doing, bud? And his name is David as well. And I joined this one school. I joined this class in the 4th grade. Well, like 4 of my friends were already in the same
all day,
class from like kindergarten and or 1st grade up to 4th. There was already a David. So I was like new David, and he never fails to remind me that I'm still the new guy. After 40 some years, not 40, 30 some years, I'm still the new guy.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Happy
it's
50th, by
an
the way.
awesome thread that we have, and David, I know you'll probably be watching this, and you'll probably be laughing about the fact that we went on about Oreos.
Nah, he didn't care.
Although he probably actually will care, and he will actually probably go try it. Anyways, so I am saying it now, or no? I'm not saying it now. Let's save it. Let's save it. It's another good one.
Let's just move on.
Right.
Where did
Dive
my
in.
stuff go?
The issue is that we are still technically in the middle.
I know.
Or
This is the longest, weirdest fantasy match
the
week of all
middle
time.
There's still one more match to be played in
it
game
won't
week 24.
And until Liverpool and Everton play on Wednesday.
Right.
The last Merseyside derby at Goodison ever.
Right. So we still have that. We want to talk about. We can do a quick review of what's gone on already in game week 24. We do need to get into we have to get into it's the Ben Crellin podcast, sponsored by Ben
For
Crellin.
sure.
I mean,
Just a quick update, just
he
because
didn't have
of
to pay anything for
right,
that.
just because of the results of the Carabao Cup matches and the
absolutely.
FA Cup matches that have gone on. We now have at least some idea of what's going to happen in the blank and double game weeks that are through the rest of the season,
Right.
which would affect some of your decision making, at least in the short term. And then, I just think that Arsenal had one of the most hilarious little runs
Weeks.
of. It was what a fantastic and then terrible, hilarious thing that we all got to experience. So we can talk about
It's so
that.
hilarious, wasn't it, Brian?
It was hilarious and hilarious.
Thank you.
So yeah,
right.
let's get into it.
All right, match week 24. My fantasy week, I did not use a chip, and after it went on, remember last week we were discussing. Okay, so do we use the assistant manager chip? Like we finally told everyone. I finally understood what the heck the assistant manager chip was, how much it was going to be worth. I don't think I actually realized that it was going to be worth like 10 points the first week if someone picked slot, or more if someone took Wolves. And
Everton was pretty high too, yeah.
Moyes is worth 12.
Yeah.
So the issue was also that a lot of the information of this didn't really happen until Friday. So as much as we wanted to review, we didn't. I mean, the information wasn't available until later in the week, which is why when I logged back in on Friday night to check, like, all right, what am I going to do to set up here, only to find like just a rager of a debate on whether or not to use the assistant manager, who to use it on.
Did you use it?
Yes, I did. Content creators.
And you used it on...
I use on Moyes.
Yeah, so we talked about that. That was your
content creators.
Good for
you. Bouncing around the idea of selling. They were on triple Liverpool and selling one of the Liverpool players
just to get slot.
And
they would have.
Wouldn't have been a bad call.
It would have been brilliant.
Because primarily that meant Gakpo. Because if you were on triple Liverpool, you were probably on a defender. Seems like Trent was the highest owned, but whatever. You were on one of the defenders.
Right.
You're on Salah and you're on Gakpo. So a lot of people, like Pross was one of the people who talked about it publicly. He had saved, I think he had 5 transfers. He had either 4 or 5 transfers. Used all of them through the week. Yeah. Got to Friday night. And took a hit to sell Gakpo so that he could make Slot his assistant manager,
which is just gold, because they're gonna get 5 matches out of that.
So the whole thing was
it's just crazy because at the time we didn't know they're getting 5 matches.
Well, there was pretty good strong indication that was going to happen.
It was all so it was just depending on your level of confidence on what Liverpool
beating
and
Tottenham.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it was a 1-0 deficit. It was a home match. Tottenham is Tottenham.
Yeah.
You know what Tottenham is? League Diane? Hot trash.
Oh.
Hot trash.
They're just gluten-free. It's fine.
Listen, there was little confidence for them going into it.
Yeah.
But it was still like the kind of their whole season was riding on that. You thought you might get a better performance, and you didn't get.
You would think
they were a game away from a final. That's kind of surprising.
You didn't really get much of a performance as soon as the penalty happened. I think that was kind of just all you needed to do is get the floodgates.
In fairness to Tottenham, they have 14, 15 first team players.
Most of
hurt.
Most
and
of
Richarlison left
hurt.
This game hurt.
Right. So all of that to say, depending on what your level of confidence was, kind of how you played it. But the issue for how you were going to do it was a pretty strong opinions on both sides of it.
Yeah.
Do you go for Slot
or Moyes?
Right. And do you basically the chalk pick, or do you take a swing on the table bonus and go for Moyes and also spend less money? And that was what I ended up doing. That's the reason why I picked Moyes, was because it was easier. Like, to me, it didn't make any sense.
And you'll get 4 matches out of it, which is great.
It didn't make any sense to me to swap Gakpo going into that match.
I'm not using the assistant manager chip until at minimum I'm going to get 4 matches out of it, right?
For sure.
I mean,
depending on how you, but this is exactly why I wanted to get it out of the way now, because the doubles that were coming up. That's why I said, depending on
once it's active, you can't do anything else.
Right.
Then that's the thing. The doubles that are coming up, assuming 33 happens the way kind of the table will shake out, there's really good opportunity for doublers in that game week 36, same thing. So I just think there's good ceiling later to use a triple captain. But that's part of what we were going to say, is that so far everyone's a winner. However you played it, because Everton stomped Leicester, and because Liverpool I'd say adequately handled Bournemouth, even though they kind of lucked into a 2-0.
Yeah, I'll give
not
you that.
Really a 2-0.
Bournemouth is a great team.
And Bournemouth missed 2 ridiculously good chances.
At least 2.
Right.
Clivert miss.
That was
so that's the
hard
thing.
to watch.
A good team lost to a great team, or at least the way they're playing right now. So that's the way it goes. But whatever. Like, everyone's a winner. If you captain Salah, if you went triple Liverpool, if you used one of your Liverpool spots on slot, if you went like I did, I had 3 Liverpool, and now with Moyes it was triple Everton. I did not pick like one of my options, honestly, was to put Beto. It was one of the ways the money could work. It was either sell Raul to get Beto or sell one of my defenders to get an Everton defender.
Did you pull in Beto?
And I did not. I didn't do it on the thought that Fulham might also double. There was the chance that Fulham could double, and I thought if I do that, I would want to have Raul.
About that. We joked about buying Beto. That's hilarious that you actually considered that.
I could not,
because it would have been a masterstroke.
Right. It would have put me on 100 points this week if I had done that. But either way, I ended up picking the other O'Brien or whatever, the opposite of Mikolenko, well, the guy playing the other side of Mikolenko. But either way, all of that to say, the points were there for everybody. If you triple captain Salah, you're feeling great. If you have Moyes or Slot, you're feeling probably pretty good. And that's why I needed to take the bigger swing.
Oh, why'd you steal mine?
I just figured they're just out there. So
anyway, so that was really the thinking behind it. So, but that's
wild.
I just think this week, we're back to where we were before. I feel like another pretty straightforward decision making week. You're not really doing. I don't think you're doing anything unless the only thing that will shake this up massively is if there's any indication that Trent's injury is long term, which it did not seem like it was.
There's actually a chance he makes Everton. It's unlikely, but there's a chance he makes Everton. So I would expect him to play at least one of the matches in the next game week.
So that's the thing.
25 is probably okay, but I don't think you're getting two games out of him. And even if he does play both, I don't think he plays 90 minutes in both.
Right. So that's the thing. Like now, because one of those games, Wolves, I don't know. Wolves can get you. Wolves can score.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm counting on that against Liverpool, but they can. And then, Villa, because you're at Villa. I think that was that was for me. My decision was basically like, how do I not go? If I already went Moyes, why am I not going Unai Emery?
Yeah.
While I'm on an active assistant managership, home to Ipswich, and then home to Liverpool for another crack at the table bonus.
Yeah, I love that. Or even moving to slot. Truthfully, I mean,
right.
Emery is cheaper,
and that's the other option is just to, or like if it's, that's what I'm saying. If it turns out where it's like, hey, Trent doesn't show up for Everton, and it's like, hey, we're still, whatever. Connor Bradley's playing great. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's not like there's a
Robertson who.
Well, just that you can't. I mean, it's not like it's a. It's not like it's some drop off. It's just a different type of player, and when he's out there, like, I mean, it's not like Liverpool suffers or whatever. It's just whatever. I'm just saying, if it turns out that Trent, if there's a feeling that he's going to miss for sure, I wouldn't want him for the Villa game, right? I mean, why would I go after that? If there was a danger of him missing Wolves, then it would be Trent out. And I'd probably just go for the, probably the safety of slot. So,
yeah,
I think that is the decision to be made here now. Like, if you didn't, like this week, anybody who activated, if you're on triple captain Salah, you don't have assistant manager. Why not? I mean, you could take another crack at the assistant manager now, and get 25, 26, 27. It's the same as, you can look ahead and see how you feel about the double game week 33 or whatever.
You got City in Newcastle if you're selecting slot,
which is not
with an assistant manager.
You don't love that.
Yeah,
but
you don't.
But Unai Emery, on the other hand,
and that's the other thing. You don't have
home games in a row. You get home Ipswich. I don't love the next two.
But
home
remember,
Liverpool,
you
home
don't
Chelsea,
have
and
to
then
keep
at Palace.
the manager. You can transfer.
That's true.
Right? So you could run slot for game week 25 and then switch over to, I don't know,
that's what I'm saying.
Somebody.
For sure, like I'm not keeping David Moyes. Anyone with Everton.
Okay, so,
anyone with Moyes now will not
take,
have him in game week
I could
20.
get Unai Emery for Ipswich if I wanted to, right? Yeah. But I'd have to keep him for Liverpool.
Yes. Because
they're in the same match week.
Right.
Not that great. But you're thinking about doing it just to get it off.
I'm saying that the huge benefit to the assistant manager chip is that table bonus.
Yeah.
Like that's where that's how I would want to play. That's how I would want to play it regardless. Like the reason why everyone went to slot is because Liverpool's team 1A. Like you are just banking on the best manager of the current best team. So anybody who's gone to slot is doing. It's just a low ceiling move comparative to table bonus, like trying to take a crack at a guy who's in that 5 spots or below range. So that's why we kept saying the assistant manager would be great on, Glasner for Crystal Palace. If you want to, if you wanted to do, you feel like, does Tottenham get fit? The problem with Tottenham now is that they don't double the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So I think Ange is probably not an assistant manager option. You're probably going to shoot for one of the double game week people, and that's why we've been saying, like, look at, the double game weeks, even in 33, where you look, Bournemouth is useful all the way through game week 33. Bournemouth double in 33. Why not?
Yeah.
You could take a Areola crack. That's another one that you could try. Like Villa double again. Like their double is okay in game week 33. That's what I'm saying.
So,
these are all assets like you'll want to go through later.
I'm starting to get a little glimpse of the assistant manager chip here and what that could mean. Let's say I did it this week. We already know that we're not going to get another shot at 5 games.
Right.
You could get a shot at 4 this week, and there's going to be a few other doubles. This week, if I took Emery, I'd have him against Ipswich and Liverpool.
Yep.
Okay. Then I could transfer him out for Amarin, where Ipswich is at United.
Yep.
I could then transfer him out and then take Glasner because Palace is home to Ipswich. Yeah. I could get 3 Ipswich matches with the manager that I'm selecting is the home manager.
The only thing as long as you have the...
Assuming I'm going for the wins and I'm not going for the...
Those aren't the right coaches and matches, but yes, you could do that.
Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, United plays in
Ipswich 27. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you activated it,
so you're doing it
25, 20. Oh, it'd be 25, 26, 27.
Yeah, because Crystal Palace plays in Ipswich in 28.
Correct.
You would take Ange. You'd take Spurs losing at Ipswich in 26, and then you'd have to factor that in.
Right. That's fair. Probably true.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's some options.
Anyways, but bottom
line,
line,
you think Brighton at Southampton.
If you wanted to
Brentford
target
at Leicester.
If you wanted to target
Bournemouth
a team,
at Wolves.
If you want to target Southampton, maybe that's the bigger target.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what you're shooting for is because then you're shooting for goals. Because that's the assistant manager is you get a point for a goal. You get the bonus for 6 points for a clean sheet, 3 for a win, however it is, it's on the website. You can look it up on the assistant manager chip page on the Premier League website. But either way, that's why Moyes. That's why this week I think
Moyes is worth 12.
Nuno was worth 19.
Yeah,
for Nottingham Forest.
Crazy.
Because it was 7 goals plus a clean sheet plus the win. So it was a huge Nuno week. But who was going there? Not one person. Like I said already, you know that people were selling Chris Wood.
Yeah.
He was he was definitely a top 2 or 3 sold player going into a hat trick. How would you ever know that? Yeah, point being, Dave, you like that's what I'm saying. If you wanted to, like for me, likely without any kind of Trent update, like assuming that Trent is fit and plays 2 games, Trent would stay, and I would just take the swing on the table bonus for Emery in 25. So that's my transfer though. So and then like no matter what, I have to make a transfer to make the manager. I don't think I have the money to go from Moyes to Emery without a hit.
Right. So I have, not that anyone cares, I have 0 money in my bank, but I do have 3 transfers.
Right.
So
you activating the manager chip does not count. That does not count as a transfer. That is
correct.
Just you picking the manager. So
but I gotta have money to do it.
Right.
Currently, I don't have money, so I have to make a transfer at least to make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, every time you do, like next week, if I want to change managers, it would cost a transfer.
Yep.
Not any more money unless you went up in money.
Right.
27, 28, 29 isn't bad for targeting Ipswich, though. You could do United, then Crystal Palace, and then Forest.
Yeah,
that's not
true.
a bad.
No, I know.
That's not a bad. I mean, you have to use 2 transfers, but you could use your free transfer.
Right, because you did not. You still have
fine.
you did not use your triple captain, or you did.
I have not used triple captain
right.
yet. Which again, it would be on the table this week. You have Salah. You could take Salah this week against. Against Villa and
if
Wolves.
I wasn't right, if I wasn't using assistant manager currently, I probably would have, knowing what I knew, I would probably have saved it for 25. I like the matchups.
The matchups
Liverpool,
better here.
Wolves and Villa
better than
25, better than Bournemouth and Everton.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and him getting a brace against Bournemouth. I mean, like we said last week.
You wouldn't have expected that, but all he had to do was one.
Right, that's what I mean. The outcome. That's what we talked about. That of like him getting a return or multiple returns is never surprising. It's just that the quality of the team was kind of dictating a lot of people's moves.
Yeah.
There are people who would just say irrationally, like the irrational confidence of don't care. He's having the best season ever, and he's playing. Don't care if it's Bournemouth.
Which is real.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm. It's just it definitely held off a lot of people from using triple captain, but that could just be a pundit thing.
It could be. Very well could be.
Pundits don't speak for the people, as we keep seeing over and over again.
Double. So that's a lot on 24, and coming up on what else we're doing here.
Double game
down.
Week. Listen, double game week 33. If it's possible, but right now Ben Crellin's saying is unlikely. We want to move into the Ben Crellin segment of the podcast. Just looking ahead to game week 33, Nottingham Forest are at Spurs and home Brentford. Like, how many goals is Chris Wood scoring in that double game week? 8? 12? Is he getting 2 6-packs?
Depends if Spurs actually had defenders come back from injury.
I don't know, man. It just there doesn't seem like there's like that double game week. City are at Everton and home to Aston Villa. That's not bad. I don't think it's as good as their potential in 36 for them is kind of the one. I think if they're still chasing in game week 36, like we said, it would be at Southampton. And then home to either Bournemouth or Aston Villa. Fairly likely double game week at that point. What we were saying is that wait, you wanted to talk about sandwich?
No, we talked about Oreos too much, but the Double Down is back, guys. KFC, which is a global chain, guys. KFC.
Okay.
Had a sandwich. I mean, it's been a while. Had a sandwich.
What is it?
It was a burger with no bread. Instead of bread, it had chicken as buns.
You don't remember this?
I don't remember this.
It is
You're too busy eating Oreos.
It's the protein that you've always dreamed of. Chicken.
Beef?
I think it was a hamburger.
Beef chicken?
And then chicken with lettuce and tomato. It was a regular hamburger, but instead of a bun, it was 2 pieces of chicken.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it. KFC's
The double
good.
down.
Well,
It was the double down.
I'm
Man.
going to go get one tomorrow.
Here's the reason why.
I wouldn't blame you.
Here's the reason why I think
After all these Oreos, you should probably take a break, though. Don't go get the double down.
for game week 25, I think this is why this week becomes fairly straightforward. Look at the transfers in, sort it right now. If you're listening along, I don't care. But whatever, game week 25, all the transfers in are for the doubling teams. That's your top.
Clivert, Wood, Kirkez,
Well,
Rodgers.
Right. And then Bournemouth, who we already said Bournemouth is about to go on this generational run of fixtures that is just amazing. I think Crystal Palace is
Call
right.
me stupid here. Is Forest? They're not doubling. They're just jumping back on the Wood train.
It's because
it's just
they
the
smashed.
fixtures. Yeah,
it's because they absolutely crushed. So if maybe you undid your mistake, maybe you sold Chris Wood ahead.
Everyone is selling Newcastle.
Yeah.
Gordon, Hall, Isak.
It's
all
because-
of them.
it's
Gordon's
because
got
they-
yellow triangle too.
It's because Newcastle is about to play Manchester City, then they're about to play Nottingham Forest, then they play Liverpool. So you have 3 weeks where you can kind of bet against Newcastle if you want. I don't know how smart that is.
If Newcastle was playing Arsenal every week, you bet on them every time.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like it's, but this is exactly what everybody did last week, looking at the Nottingham Forest schedule, where it was, who did they smash?
What was
It was Brighton.
Was it?
Oh,
Brighton?
right, yeah, where you're looking
Brighton.
at that on the
They
on the
destroyed them 7-0.
long.
But that's what I'm saying. You're looking at that on the color coded matchup rater, and it's gray or whatever because it's a tough game against Brighton. They've been tougher defensively, and then Nottingham Forest has Fulham. They're away to Fulham, away to Newcastle, then Arsenal, Manchester City. So it was 5 weeks basically of like gray to red color coded matchups. So of course, what do? They put 7 on Brighton, and now everybody's buying them back again. I'm just saying, like this week, everyone's buying someone from Villa. Is Ollie Watkins still hurt? I know that was a.
I don't think so.
There was some risk of that.
He's got a yellow triangle.
Yeah,
But I don't think he's actually still hurt though.
if you weren't on triple Liverpool in some form or fashion, you're probably trying to get there. And then
I'm double Liverpool. Is it Travis? Who plays defense for you, other than Virgil?
Konate.
Konate.
Has he been playing?
Yeah, he was in your team for most of the season.
Yeah, but then he wasn't.
He got hurt.
He was hurt.
For like
He's
a hot
back
second.
now.
He was out for not very long.
Is he back?
This week it just happened that
Yeah, he's back.
they all got the same amount of points. Everybody got the same. Did one of your guys get a 5? Somebody get a. None of the defenders got any bonus. I think because of the way the scoring fell out.
Yeah, it was.
But either
it was
way,
fine.
you're buying Aston Villa players. I don't know who, but
That's exactly the question: is who?
I'm not buying Villa players.
Some people are.
You buying
Even
Marcus
if they're
Rashford?
Even if they're doubling.
You buying Marcus Rashford?
Okay, interesting. Interesting. I don't
He
even know if he's
played.
going to start,
He
bro.
played
He's
in
probably
there.
not going
Play.
to start.
He played in their FA Cup match or what? EFL?
Did he start?
I think so.
Did he start that FA Cup match? If only there was a way.
That's a good question. Let's find
Ryan,
out.
All right, so
Morgan Rogers is already in everybody's and like.
no, he's not on my team.
He's in a ton of teams. So Morgan Rogers is
Maybe he shouldn't be.
but
Still, he's not going to be high on the transfer list. I'm poo-pooing it, but because he's on a lot of teams.
right. I'm saying that Morgan
He
Rogers
is 24.5% owned. I don't think you would have got that. I think you would have guessed higher.
I would have guessed 30.
Yeah.
But it's just that I think for him
He also is coming off 3-1s.
right. He's doing great in cup matches and non-league matches, and he is getting
Not
yellow cards.
performing.
He's getting yellow cards in the league matches.
Mhm.
So one of these games he's gonna not do that. But whatever. The best that you can say about Ollie Watkins is that Unai Emery was hopeful that he'd be back in training this week. You probably would think about it. He's looked more dire, like as far as injury is concerned, in games prior to this,
Okay.
and he's ended up coming out and playing, come out and play, whatever. But But yeah, I don't know what you do after that. Like, there's nothing about them defensively. Like, I don't know why you'd count on them for a clean sheet against anyone at this point. What do they have? A clean sheet? One this whole season? I feel like it's not many. And they're conceding weird goals. And they're conceding a lot of goals. So it's not like there's any defender. Like, I'm sure people are going to buy Konza just because it's a name. Is Luka Dean high on the list? I don't know why you would go to him. He finally did start getting rotated.
Matson was doing well when he was playing. Also a liability.
If you wanted to go completely, the true sickos are picking Jacob Ramsey. You want to go?
He scored the other day.
Those are some sickos.
You want to go crazy? Go for Jacob Ramsey. But yeah, I don't know. Like, Tielemans is always going to play. I wish you had any sort of consistency of minutes from Leon Bailey, but once Leon Bailey, since the injury, like, it doesn't seem like, I don't know, feels like he's just going to get
always
managed
laying on
different.
the pitch,
Right.
Yeah. Daniel Mallon started that FA Cup match against Tottenham. They did win, and Rashford came on in the 60-something minute, so he didn't even get a full half of the match. They did score right after he came on, though. Say that. Rodgers was the goal scorer.
I think this is why, like, for Villa, it doesn't, like, I get it that people are going to go to it just because they do play twice, but there isn't anything, like, it's not necessarily worth shaking up your entire team to do it. They're all players that, I think the tough thing with them, that despite the blank in game week 29, like, I wish they were more compelling as picks, because their fixtures, honestly, through game week 33 are pretty good. And they double in game week 33, or at least there's the likelihood of them doubling in game week 33 is high. So they would double against Newcastle and Manchester City. So
why do you want that?
It's not a great double, but it's still 2 games. Ollie Watkins can score in both of those games, for sure.
I mean,
so that's why, like, as long as you believe that they are a quality team, which they still seem like they are,
it just depends, honestly.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have them for this double week. They're home to Chelsea next week, whatever. Then at Palace, at Brentford, and then a blank. So that's what I mean. It's a schedule that you're like, you wouldn't feel bad about having players in those games, but it's not like, oh, I got to triple up on Aston Villa this week because the doubles are just so amazing. It's
right.
Like you get Ipswich, you hope for a lot against Ipswich, and then you hope for an upset against Liverpool. So how up for Liverpool are they going to be? It's a home game. At least it's a home game.
I'm just trying to figure out, is that a better move to, like, play that assistant manager chip this week, and then again, there won't be a chance to get 5. So you get a chance to get 4, but is that better than playing like a triple captain this week?
This is going to
Ollie Watkins.
It's going to bother you until you have an assistant manager in your spot.
Yeah, especially because you're going to call your brother and he's going to tell you how stupid you are.
I'm just so sick and tired of the stupid
for not doing it last week.
Throwing a monkey wrench.
So it's funny that you say that, is because I think that seemed to be the predominant content creator opinion of assistant manager.
This is
Chip.
too
thought
much
I was
of a,
finally figured out how bad I am at this game, and now I'm realizing I'm worse
too much of a
than
monkey
I ever
wrench.
knew.
Like,
I think that was it. Seemed more
for
of
those
like,
of us who've been in first place or in the running in first place, and we're trying to protect something. Travis, we got this stupid assistant manager chip. Trying to throw monkey wrenches in things.
It was less about defeating a 12-year-old. For a lot of the other content creators, I think it was more of like, this is an irritation that I didn't expect to have at any point in the season.
That's so crazy, because I felt the same way about those jalapeno poppers at the Super Bowl party.
Wow. Okay.
This is an irritation I didn't expect.
Well played. Okay.
The remaining issues going forward, like, now at least you have, for sure that the likely double game week. So game week 33
Okay, let's get to that.
Game week 33 is definitely a double game week. They're the likeliest double game weekers, at least by Ben Carlin's estimation.
And he's always right.
Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Manchester City, and Newcastle United.
Okay.
Those are all very useful teams.
Yeah.
And
I'll say.
I don't know how much. Like, I think Crystal Palace, that'd be one where like that's Mateta. That's Mateta.
What are the
range.
matchups? Who's playing who? They're like what? Who's,
Bournemouth.
Villa have Newcastle and Manchester City.
Okay, that's not great.
Home and away. So Newcastle home, City away.
Okay.
Crystal Palace is home Bournemouth at Newcastle.
Okay.
Not great, but whatever. It's still Crystal Palace. They're gaining steam. They're not losing it. Manchester City is at Everton, home Aston Villa. I say thumbs up on that. I don't care how good Moyes hasn't played. Whatever. It's still
You said City's at Everton.
At Everton, home Aston Villa.
At Stanley Park? No, not yet.
And then Newcastle is at Aston Villa, home to Crystal Palace. So again, it's okay. You're like that's where you're fine.
Goals in those games.
You're fine with Gordon and Isak.
A City
you might
triple
not
captain that weekend might be decent.
right.
Maybe a Foden triple captain.
And then depending. So
I own Foden this week. He got a 2.
Yeah, he hasn't had many of those.
Those
a lot of those.
Those are the 4
What?
likeliest
Too many.
doubles, and then a fairly likely double game week in game week 33 for Bournemouth and Manchester United. So if your gut double game week 33 ends up being Villa, Bournemouth, Palace, City, United, Manchester United, Newcastle, that's like you will definitely shift. Like that is, if you still have a wild card, you are wild carding to maximize that.
Or free hitting that week.
Double game week 33. Also,
6 teams double match week that week.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's a bench boost week. Or
Right,
if
that's
you
or a free hit week.
I was going to say
typical free hit or bench boost.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, a lot to be decided by then. This is, double game week 33. You will know before or shortly after the game week 30 deadline. So you still have, we're back to where we were kind of before. You have 5 weeks of information here still. But based on the way the schedule would work out, depending on how the matches shake out, whatever, that's the kind of where you're at with the double game weeks. I'm just saying, like, a lot of the planning, though, ahead of, like, for right now, I feel like a lot of the decision is made for you because of Villa and Liverpool. Where are you on those teams? Do you already have them? You probably already did. A lot of people did because of double game week 24. That's what I'm saying. Like, really, it's now people are kind of planning ahead.
I'm not going to go get players.
It's the Bournemouth
playing 2 against, like, Villa's second games against Liverpool. They're not going to do anything in that match.
Well, says
me.
That's not what
I sense a bet.
That's what the games are.
Do you
played
guys want
for.
to bet about that?
How am I going to bet on Villa getting a result against? No, I'm just saying. Like,
no, you'd be betting on. I don't know. Oh yeah,
I would be betting on it with my actual moves because I'm putting Unai Emery in my assistant manager spot. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, now hold on. That makes sense. But going and getting Villa players in a double match week,
right?
Where they got, if you want a Villa player because you want to throw them in there against Ipswich, awesome. I'm just not going to expect much against Liverpool.
No, I wouldn't expect a ton, but it's trying to maximize the points. So that's it. The maximum amount of points you can get playing an assistant manager would be a double game week manager who smashes one team and gets any sort of positive result against the top table team.
In a bonus team.
He's the maximum you can hope for, not the maximum that it could actually happen, right? Yeah.
Right. The maximum would be if Ipswich beat somebody way above them by 40 goals.
Which is everyone.
Right. That's exactly it. No, but 5 places above. It would have to be somebody. It would have to be West Ham or higher. No, not even West Ham. It would have to be.
All right. For those of you out there,
Spurs.
we're mentioning this a lot. Unai Emery is worth 0.8. So if you wanted to start it, an assistant manager chip this week. It's going to cost you 0.8. I'm considering it.
Moise is also 8, right?
But Everton's not in it. They only got 3 matches.
I'm just saying Moise was.
Moise.
Yes. No. 0.5.
Yeah, he's 0.5.
So you're actually going to. So do you have the 3 to move to?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so you're going to have to.
I have.
So in one move, I Gabriel out, Konate in. I have 1.1 available. So now, then not only am I getting a Liverpool player in a double, now I'm also getting a third Liverpool player, which I did not have.
Is Konate going to play? I'm just messing with you.
If he doesn't, oh my God.
Gomez is injured. The only other player that could play is Kwanzaa, who played against Plymouth and did fine, but also lost.
Oh, sure he did.
Yeah.
He did.
So Konate will be back. Yes.
Ironically, we haven't talked about that fiasco. All right. Interesting. It's just crazy how this. I know this is 2 weeks in a row. People are probably tired of hearing about it, but maybe not because they're thinking of the exact same things I'm thinking. And that's why I'm saying them out loud, because if I'm thinking them, there's a good chance other people are probably thinking them too.
Yeah, you're pretty
right,
average.
Travis?
Yeah,
I'm pretty average.
You're pretty average.
Yeah. All right.
I guess it's not. I mean, expected goals against. I don't know how. I don't know.
The wheels were turning over here. I couldn't even look at him.
It's a hard thing to evaluate. I think with Villa, just because the results have been so. I don't know. They've just been. It feels like they've been poor, and defensively, it feels like they've been poor. And then you look at the numbers, and you're like, oh, well, they're the 6th best for expected goals allowed, but they've conceded. They've conceded 37, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th worst. So in real life, they've been way worse than their expected
at Ipswich,
goals.
It was 2-2 draw.
Right. They were. I think they blew that lead.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So they circled that one, Dave. It's a revenge game.
Maybe circled.
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe circled.
Maybe they won't overlook them this time.
They'll stay humble.
Delap is going to score just 1 instead of getting, I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. The point is.
Good week for Kendrick Lamar across the pond and here.
The point is, I think a lot of your decision making, I think it's immediate. You have the best fixtures right in front of you. The people are speaking with their transfers, as you can see on the page. It's exactly what you would expect. It's Bournemouth, it's Villa, it's Liverpool, and it's Nottingham Forest because of their result this week. That's it. So I think where is Mateta? I'm not on it right now. Where is Mateta on transfers in this week? Is everyone trying to get Jean-Philippe in their team?
Hold on. I got it. Mateta.
That's the question.
Mateta is 6. He just didn't make the top page. So it goes Clivert, Wood, Kirkes, Rogers, Mbumo, Mateta.
Mateta is the 2nd most transferred in for forwards.
He's got to be.
Yes. But
and Wood would be the first, probably.
Yes.
But 150,000 more people are bringing in Chris Wood.
Because they did the stupid thing and got rid of him, and they learned their lesson. Right.
But what I'm saying is, like, Mateta and Gakpo are right where you kind of expect them to be.
So are we saying Isak is a hold still, or should we be moving from Isak to Mateta? That's a legitimate
Isak's the best striker in the world football at the moment. I'm sticking with Isak. I don't care what
I'm in the same boat, but at the same time, I'm thinking, like, ultimately, again, from a fixture standpoint and from a I guess a little bit of form with Mateta, he seems to be hitting a hot streak.
Yeah,
that's not to say that Isak is not doing well, but Isak was on a good vein of form, and then kind of
I just think it was one. I think it's a bad game. So I don't know. He still played 90 minutes, took 1 shot, was off
Callum
target.
Wilson's back, by the way. He played in their cup matchup.
That's great.
Scored.
That's great for their depth. But
throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Not that matters. It's just making the statement.
Who?
Well, the issue is, if you think back to some of the things that Isak has said, he has been very vocal about his ability or inability to play as many minutes as he's being asked to play. And so ultimately, I do think that at some point they are going to start managing his minutes. And at this stage, they haven't been able to because they don't have anybody to put on the pitch. But if Wilson is healthy enough to go out there and is capable as he's always been, because when he's out there, he's dangerous.
He needs minutes. He needs to get back. He needs to get back.
Even if they want to sell Wilson, they're going to try and find minutes so they can showcase him, right?
I would guess.
So
no,
I don't know.
I think it would be more about managing for sure. I understand if you have Isak and you look at Manchester City and you're like, oh, that's bad.
I don't know if that's bad, but
they're still red. And then I would just say, I don't care. It's obviously not. Yeah. It's obviously not the Manchester City of previous seasons, especially defensively.
Yeah.
Especially
for sure
in games with players who have strikers the quality of Alexander Isak.
Did they have an own goal on their goalkeeper again? He do something dumb? I think he did.
Who cares?
Yeah, or I think Ortega had an own goal.
Who cares? They're trash. Hot trash.
So
hot trash.
Does it do anything
Manchester
for you?
City.
Does
hot
it do
trash.
anything for you? To me, Isak seems like the 6th or 7th player on my team that I would be willing to get rid of.
I'm not getting rid of Isak
to make free up money.
I didn't get rid of Chris Wood last week. I'm not getting rid of Isak.
So I'm saying if you were me and you have Isak and you do not have Chris Wood, would you sell Isak this week to get Chris Wood? Would you? Is that an exchange?
Who's your third though?
Raul Jimenez.
Oh,
but I can't do anything with Raul. Like that's what I'm saying. If the only thing I could have done was this week.
Yeah.
Raul out.
You hedged too hard.
Beto in.
You hedged too hard.
At City, greater chance of scoring than Wood at Fulham. Mark me.
Okay. No, that's what I mean.
Fulham's pretty organized.
To me, it seems like not a move I feel in any way compelled
Fulham's defense,
to make.
I would trust Captain America over there, Anthony Robinson, over any of the hot trash that's in the City's defense.
Isak is the number 1 most sold forward.
Crazy. Yeah, I wondered that. That's why I was asking.
Crazy.
That seems weird, man.
Everyone's selling Newcastle.
I don't know, man.
It's
crazy people.
The colors are getting you.
Don't buy it.
I think we don't.
We'll find out. We'll find out how wrong I am.
Anymore,
I'm saying don't buy it.
What?
Uncouth.
Don't sell Newcastle this week. I'm saying it right now. Bold move of the week. Obviously, it's bold because everyone else is doing it. I say that people are idiots. Don't follow the masses. What would Scott say? Dumb mass move of the week. People selling Newcastle this week.
Yeah, that easily would be it.
Right?
I would guess.
Yeah.
The other issue for transfers, as far as the maximizing the fixtures, I think you can see where we've already said Bournemouth is. If you waited on Bournemouth, if you didn't do anything about it against Liverpool, you feel fine. But now it's Southampton, it's Wolves, it's Brighton, it's Tottenham. They do play in blank 29, so obviously a move to go for that, and then Ipswich West Ham. So through game week 31, you have very good fixtures for Bournemouth. Fulham at home in 32. Anyone that's playing Bournemouth away is probably not feeling too good about themselves. And then Bournemouth in a fairly likely double game week against Crystal Palace and Manchester United, which I would say is good.
Yeah.
I think that would be not great, but definitely good enough to. But people are going double and triple Bournemouth this week. Are you buying Kirkes plus or Howson plus Dango or Clivert or Semenyo?
I would buy Dango and Howson.
Okay.
I own.
I'm only doing Howson. He's 4-4.
Altara.
Dango.
Okay, so here's one. Would I rather own Lewis Hall or Howson? And they're not. I mean, Hall's 5.0 and Howson is 4-4.
Right.
That's significant. I mean, that's 0.6 there.
That's
my
an
assistant manager.
That's where I'm making up my money.
I would sell
Right.
I like Murphy Isak better at City than I do Hall.
Right. Oh, no, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I'm going to get rid of a Newcastle guy, if I want to downsize a little bit in Newcastle, which I might do, although Kirkes and Hall are straight up.
Not a bad one.
Mano y mano there. And Kirkes is just a ball of fury. He and is it Kudus that's a ball of knives, Travis?
Ball of knives. Kudus was.
I feel like Kirkes could be a ball of knives.
The move that I would have to make, the only way I can make up the money, I can sell. It would have to be Lewis Hall, or like I said, depending on what the status of Trent. I mean, if I sell Trent, I can give it whoever.
Sure.
Selling Trent to almost
not in a double match week. You're not selling double match week.
Right. So I need an injury update is what I need.
Oh.
So depending on what happens with him by
Injury
Wednesday.
Roundup?
No. I eventually when I wild card.
Okay.
I don't want to. I mean, double Everton defense was fine so far this game week, but
Pickford got me a 9. I'm pretty pumped.
Right. And Pickford's I would have gone to Pickford if I had more money.
Sure.
I just did not have the money for it. But I'm saying I don't want 2 of their defenders, which I currently have. But they're not worth enough to sell. I couldn't even get to Tarkowski. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't even go that high. So that's why I mean, like, if you are stuck with any of these kind of players because you were trying to get the double game week, well, now it's not like there's nothing about Everton's fixtures going forward where you're like, well, they're one game against Crystal Palace. That's not fantastic. Then home to Manchester United, not great. At Brentford, not great. At Wolves, I don't know how even good that is. Like, it just depends on how do you see David Moyes at this point? And it seems like he's been a huge net positive for their attacking purposes, which has to take off some of the defensive pressure. So 4-0 against Leicester was, I mean,
Leicester's terrible though.
They are terrible, but still, it was a thrashing, and it was a feel-good thrashing. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the vibes
it's a good boost.
The vibes are high for Everton right now.
Yeah.
So that's why that's the only thing I can hope for is for Wednesday is that those vibes stay up. Keep them up there, David.
I told Brother Matt today, I don't think it's going to happen. I want Everton to somehow win that game. In what world do we live, Brian?
Of course you need that. You need that.
I need that, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, think positive.
I hope so.
Hopefully it can be our.
Are we ready to move to something really positive?
I think that's kind of. That's
where we're headed.
Look, man, there's not a lot. Like, what numbers are you gonna get? Like, what could you look at that's gonna make you say, "Well, that does it." Did you know that Yohan Wissa's got 21 shots since the turn of the calendar year?
Oh, wow.
That's the number 1 of all the players in the league.
Wow.
Deal done. Wissa
Got
in.
him. Wissa,
on the pod.
He's a shooter.
You suck
You
out.
already know that.
Shooter's going to shoot.
So it's not quite the same. Even this week, your number 1 shooting guy this week, Cole Palmer, unlucky, extremely unlucky. Cole Palmer, that target,
The rootinest, tootinest, shootinest guy of the week.
his shot was on target. You can see from the it was an on target shot that deflected in,
and
that
they
goes
gave him
as
the
an own
assist.
goal. Right, that's what I'm saying.
Which was
like,
garbage. It was absolutely on target, even on a heavy deflection.
But then everything else for the week, like Semenyo, he's your number 2 shooter. 6 shots this week for Semenyo against Liverpool. Should have scored 1 of them. Yeah?
The one that hit the inside of the upright. Oh, man, that was so good.
So that's what I mean.
Man, that was so good.
Raul Jimenez, 6 shots for him this week.
Oh.
So how unlucky is that? I'm not sure.
If you own him, it was pretty unlucky.
When we get to the Liverpool segment, you can explain why isn't Kai Havertz a top transfer in this week? Why isn't everybody flocking to him after such a great game for Kai Havertz? He went for double digits this week, Dave. Why is Kai Havertz not higher on the buying list for everybody? Is he your new stud? Did he finally find some form? no one seems
they
to think
just
so.
played a hot trash city.
Right.
So there's that.
I just think a lot of these players, it's going to be like, as much as you want it to be driven by something data related, it never is. And you can see people are selling the best striker in England, at least. They're selling him this week ahead of Manchester City for one reason only. It's not a ton of people. It's 100,000 managers. But it's still like it's the top of the list.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Why is that? There's one reason why. Red. That's it. Red rated matchup.
They're not looking at the fact that Arsenal just throttled them for 5.
It's never going to be different. That's what I'm saying. Like, anytime you see any content creator, it's definitely like this on X. But anytime any content creator wants to give you a case for why you should sell someone, it probably is going to include a screenshot of whatever their upcoming gray and red
schedule.
fixtures are. And
in this podcast, Brian, may we be set apart.
That's exactly why everyone sold Chris Wood.
We don't do this.
No.
Right. I would rather
consider it sometimes.
Yeah.
But it is not the end all to making transfers.
Yeah.
We mock that more than anything.
Anytime if you ever look at that schedule and you see a lot of red and gray, and then you look at because the ratings almost, I'm not really sure. It's the same level of transparency as price changes. It's like, why are they gray? Why are they red? I don't know. Why does it shift during the season? And it doesn't shift a lot. People have already asked. There's deep red 5 for really tough defensive matchups. Why is there never a glowing green 1 for the easy matchups? Why
Good call.
Right? People have pointed that out.
It goes from
repeatedly.
2 to 5. There's no ones.
Right? There's never a 1, and it's like Leicester's a 1. You treat Leicester and Southampton and Ipswich like they're 1s. So why not just make them a 1?
Yeah,
that's what everyone wants them to be.
Yeah, it's a really good call.
Whatever. I'm just saying, this week it seems like.
It's so crazy. We've never talked about this before.
I know.
It just never has come up.
The highlight of the week, you might think, was Forest smashing Brighton 7-0. Yes, horribly surprising.
No, not my highlight.
Highlight of the week, you might have thought, was Wolves beating Villa 2-0. That was huge. A little shocking.
That's huge.
Wolves really came to play. You might think that the highlight of the week was relegation battling Tottenham beating Brentford. You might have thought that was a kind of a hot topic upset of the week. But the best result of the week, save all of those, Arsenal 5, Manchester City 1, Travis. And I'll repeat that again. Arsenal 5, Manchester City 1. Oh, how it looks when we're not given crap red cards and we have the same amount of people on the pitch that you do. Oh, how it looks when our 18-year-old defender, who was mocked by Erling Haaland in the end of the game skirmish, when Haaland is telling Arteta to stay humble, Jesus kind of comes up to him and goes what are you talking about? And our 18-year-old runs up to defend his manager, and Haaland looks down at him from his lofty ivory tower and says, who the F are you? He knows who he is now as Miles Skelly scores on City and does Haaland's Zen celebration as the Arsenal crowd around him. Manchester City, if they thought that this game didn't mean a little bit more to Arsenal, they know now. Arsenal scored in the second minute. They scored in the 56th, 62nd, 76th, and then our 17-year-old scored on them in the 90+3.
Did you watch the game, Travis?
Second half, yeah.
What was the floodgate? What was the thing? Why did it go from this is in the balance and Erling ties it up and then...
Yeah, City.
Because City, Ruben Diaz is not in their defense. Their defense was getting their defense was getting throttled all game. They can't do anything in the midfield. Yeah. Kovacic picked up a early yellow, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be wrong. Maybe it was that. No. I am wrong. That Kovacic did not pick up an early yellow, but Kovacic in like the lineup that they put out there is just it's Kovacic, Bernardo Silva, who's a shell of himself, Phil Foden, Savinho, and Marmouche. They got 3 wing players in there. And then it's Kovacic, really 4. Bernardo Silva's, for the most part, a wing player who is substitute in other places. But Bernardo Silva is not the same guy as he has been for the last 5 years. Kovacic is absolutely not. Excuse me. And they're just so weak in the midfield. It's pathetic. And Arsenal owned him in the midfield. Partey had one of his maybe best games I've ever seen him play. Declan Rice was ridiculous. And Partey and Rice greater than the entire midfield that City can produce at the moment. Rodrigo wasn't stepping on the field. So, there's that. And it was just I'm not sure, Brian, that it was necessarily a floodgate moment, but it was it felt like it was for the most part kind of constant pressure. City had more possession, 54.3%. 4 shots on target, 7 shots total. Arsenal 7 shots on target, 12 shots. So it didn't feel horribly one-sided, other than the fact that Arsenal's counter-striking ability, and then I don't know, just kind of being at the right place at the right time, being brave, taking on dribblers and making things happen. And Partey's goal was kind of lucky.
That's true.
Right, Partey's goal, he kind of lucked into that. Miles Skelly was definitely not. And then I think City, when they're down 3-1, they're trying to push a little bit, push a few more people forward, and then they give up a 4th, and they give up a 5th, and
at that point, who cares?
But Arsenal, look, they had that match circled, and then of course I don't want to talk about it, but they go into the midweek match in the semifinal against Newcastle, and they just don't show up. They used all their mojo in this game. So we're just going to talk about this game, Brian.
Yeah.
Not the
I was going to say
the Carabao Cup semifinal. We're just going to talk about this game.
Well, I was going to ask you about it after you clear up all this stuff. I got to say I will never be able to embrace the level of the pettiness of club hatred.
Okay.
So the between club banter at this point, especially for Arsenal fans compared to definitely Liverpool. The Arsenal Liverpool, at least online fan back and forth, is really funny to me. So
both teams have really out there fans.
City already, it feels like they've, it still feels like a older brother, little brother relationship a little bit, just because of accomplishment. You can always just point to accomplishment. Right, you can just point to that kind of thing. So just seeing some of the, Dave, there's just, I need to give you some of them. Just that, see, here's an example.
I know you're
Connor, a Chelsea fan at CFC_CS on X, just with a picture of a lot of Arsenal fans doing the celebration with the caption "Humble 3 points."
Right.
A bunch of fans.
Sure.
And the Chelsea fan says, "Fair play. This lot have achieved something I never thought possible. They've made me genuinely want Liverpool to win a league title." So I feel like that's kind of where. Is
everyone forgetting the shithousery, earmuffs kids, that went on after City scored that goal and Haaland threw the ball in the back of Gabriel's head? And then he tells Arteta to stay humble. And then he looks at Miles Skelly and says, "Who the F are you?"
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm only telling you what the people are saying.
I get it. I'm just saying it's very, what have you done for me lately? Everyone's forgetting
for sure
the crap that went on.
That's what I'm saying. Anfield Fix. I don't know. Not as a decent number of followers or whatever. just pointed out, like, and a picture of that celebration, just saying, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be fuming if any of our kids did this before or after winning a major trophy. Klopp would have stuck them back in the reserves for 4 months. You have to question what kind of culture Arteta has established at that club over 5 years. These are your people. Okay. I love it. But I'm saying, like, the level, like the just the types of comments. They are just so.
I will say this. So this is not a dig. This is not a dig by any stretch of the imagination. But Liverpool had a 4 to 5 year run where we were right there in the mix with City, and City was just destroying everybody. And there were 3 years where we were a point away, right?
Yeah.
During that time, that comment actually does stick out to me, because during that time there was a immaturity about those Liverpool teams, and I think that immaturity really, really was rooted in too much emotion. They got riled up about everything. They felt everything. The highs were high, the lows were low, and I think they suffered for it. And I honestly see Arteta falling into the same trap.
Could be.
And I wonder if that's so. And I'm not saying that's always the case,
Arsenal's,
but I know it was for Liverpool.
2 years in a row, finishing second.
And
pace to
that
finish
could very
second.
well be the case where you, like, to be fair, the reason why that guy can make that statement about Klopp, and I think he's right, not early career Liverpool career Klopp, but late career Klopp definitely would have done that.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it was because he learned, like, even he was running around like a crazy person, celebrating goals, but he calmed down. As wild as he was, he calmed down significantly from the first couple of years, and especially those years where we went close, because the emotion was too much. And then you look at the team now, so much more measured, so much more control, so much more patience, so much less just raw emotion, and so much more just organization. And again, and there's nothing else that's measured, right? And what they're achieving now compared to what they achieved with all of the emotion of Klopp leaving and all of the pressure that he put on them. It's really interesting to me to think about it that way. That's not to say Arsenal can't, win like that. I told my brother Matt yesterday, maybe it was today. Liverpool, literally, if I'm Slot, I'm telling the guys going into the Wednesday match, you need to treat this game like a cup final, because if you win this match, chances are you're going to win the league. I know there's a lot of games left to play.
It's 9 points, Travis, and unless Salah gets hurt, you're not screwed.
Or Van Dijk.
Van Dijk could get hurt, you guys would still survive.
I don't know.
I know that probably after beating City, emotions are high. Rory talks football. You may have seen him on X. Arsenal fan.
Okay.
Smash Newcastle, go to Dubai, come back and win a treble. That was before the Newcastle game.
You wouldn't have caught me saying that.
Laurie at LFC Laurie. This is Liverpool Football Club. Laurie. They're 6 points off first, having played a game more, have to overturn a 2-goal deficit at St. James Park, but because they beat the worst City team in over a decade, they're talking about the treble. Objectively, the funniest fan base ever, man. It is kind of funny.
It was a little bit funny. Liverpool fans weren't even talking about about doing the quad. Of course, they can't do it now, but they weren't even talking about that. Even though all they had to do was beat Plymouth.
Newcastle has beat Arsenal 3 times this year.
Yeah, they got your number. That's weird.
It is the biggest bogey team for us right now, period.
That's weird.
In fact, the total score in those 3 games is 7-0.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, I'd rather not see Newcastle on the fact, when do they play again? I hope it's really late in the season.
The only other thing, Dave, was that Liverpool,
it's match week 37. God bless.
It's just that Arsenal on January 9th, they put together that little video clip or whatever. It was like their own thing of the team, and it said, "Pressure is a privilege. We are the Arsenal." Okay, that was January 9th. It was like a little hype thing. So, at the European lad, this is the last one.
Okay, I know you're enjoying it.
1 month since this tweet. Eliminated in the FA Cup versus Manchester United. Eliminated in the Carabao Cup versus Newcastle. Funniest club in the world. Everyone loves how funny Arsenal is, and I think that is really a sign of respect.
Well,
I don't know about that.
No, it's really respectable how funny they think Arsenal is. It's obviously not. I just think it's I think it's a hilarious thing that this level of like City fans and Chelsea and everybody like this idea of
why are we
Arsenal has become
on?
So unlikable somehow
why
for the
are
other fans out of all of this.
Why?
And it all started
why
with
are Arsenal
Erling Haaland
really hard
throwing
to
a
watch.
ball
at us?
at Gabriel's head.
I didn't care for that.
Like,
I don't care for Haaland's antics. Any of them, I don't.
I'm just
But
saying
I will take Haaland's stay humble, throwing the ball at the back of Gabriel's head over pretty much any Arsenal match because it is really hard to watch them. It is really hard to watch them. Not because they're not good players, but because they do all the other things not playing. Your brother has said it a number of times. It is kind of tough. It is kind of tough.
He's an idiot.
That's between you and he.
All right. Like, that's all I want. I just think.
All right.
And then, of course, there was a lot of Lewis Skelly's boots are predators. And so, of course, lots of jokes about he was honoring Thomas Partey with his, his shoes. A lot of unnamed footballer in the 30s jokes coming out of a lot of different fan bases. So, but that's a separate dialogue. We don't even need
All right.
But just very, again, the ruthlessness of this. I'm saying, like,
don't go buy his jersey. Don't make the mistake of other people.
I'm saying the most I can get into it is like whatever emotional involvement I can get in. And it's driven by, we talked about this before. For me, like, the best I can get is NBA. You know, as an NBA fan, the times where I hate watched a finals because I'm like, I cannot stand to see. I do not want to see Shaq and Kobe win one more as long as I live, and having to sit there and watch them win and win, and then like all the things that come with that, or like finally finding teams where I'm like, yes, like Steve Nash's Phoenix Suns, like the most intense,
likable
love
team
that I've had for a team.
Cedric Sabalas in that
and
team?
They could not. No, it's too late.
Okay.
Sean Marion. Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah.
Those guys. Right. But so watching games like that where I'm like, oh man, like I just want them to win more than anything, or like, yeah. So it like that's the best I can get to.
Sacramento Kings for me was that team.
Yeah, against the Lakers for sure. Like and that's the thing. Like and I think that
Kings team was so good.
But that's what I think.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But that happened.
Neither
I'm
does our
saying
audience. This is about as interesting as middle school girls basketball.
I'm just saying Americans can approach that level, like whether you're interested, like you might have whatever. Like I just think it's the map of the United States. Who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? And if green is Eagles and red is Chiefs, the Kansas City dot was red and the rest of the country was glowing radioactive green.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying. And I think that's the closest that it gets. But this, I feel like the level of
Arsenal hate
is like all they really did was like some mockery celebration, and all it did was bring up every other fan base to say, you guys haven't done anything and you're acting like this if this were our fans. And so it's just it's an amazing
Arsenal likes to celebrate a win. They like to celebrate a win.
Moment and a snapshot.
Hey, listen,
they're good at it.
That match meant more than possibly winning the Premier League title.
It was the student becoming the master, right?
Well, we've gotten beat by City the last 2 seasons, and we had you dead to rights. We had you beat with 10 players, and at the last second, you stole a draw.
And they celebrated that one too.
And then you crapped on us after you stole the draw. So yeah, now you come to our place. We have 11 players on the pitch, and you lose 5-1. So kick rocks. Now, that's not the beast we're fighting this year. Praise God, we're not fighting Newcastle. We're fighting Liverpool.
Well, I think the moral of the story is the beast you're fighting is yourself.
And it might be. It doesn't help not having Saka around, but still.
That's true.
What will Liverpool look like without Salah, right? So, the guy who leads your team in assists and goals. So,
well, the Premier League, but yes.
Anyway, is that all? Do you feel
leads your team in goals and assists?
Do you feel
Mo
like?
Salah.
Do you feel like that?
Period.
It was a huge. It was a huge win. And
it's a big win. So you celebrate wins. I don't care. The people who say you just celebrate cups, whatever, man. You might not even make a cup final. You celebrate the big wins, and this win meant a lot with all the crap that's gone on the last couple of years. So, kick rock, City. I hope you don't finish in the top 4. That's my big heaping coals. Like the biggest heap of coals I could possibly heap on them. Brian is.
They probably they probably will.
They probably will. They probably will.
Probably not going to catch anybody.
They're currently in 5th. They're fighting with Newcastle and Bournemouth. Chelsea's already in 4th. It's can Forest hang on? It's Liverpool, Arsenal, exactly Forest, Chelsea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, City's battling with Chelsea and Newcastle, so who knows?
They feel like they're on that level. That's how it feels like they've dropped in that range. That feels about right. It just is a matter of what,
Travis.
Do all the new signings for them do anything?
Yeah,
I also
Nico Gonzalez.
They won't.
I think he might.
I will say.
I think if you can get somebody who is better than Kovacic.
If Liverpool, when they play Arsenal in match week 36.
Yeah, that's a tough run.
I told my brother, I think there's a good chance Arsenal's giving them the honor guard. The next match week, assuming Arsenal is probably in 2nd, they're playing Newcastle. And if Newcastle is in a 4th place battle with City,
they could
just lay down. Send the kids out. Just give Newcastle a 7-0 win against City and let City finish outside the top 5. That would be amazing. Because Arsenal plays Newcastle in match week 37.
Never happen. It'll never happen.
It could happen. Liverpool could have it wrapped up by then. I'm serious. I'm serious,
probably not,
Travis.
But they also aren't. But Arsenal aren't going to let them win.
It.
Aren't going to let Newcastle win.
Oh, I think if it means behind closed doors that City could thrash,
There's no way.
Newcastle's been whipped us all year already. Just give it to them.
I'm excited for that.
Crap on
the FA would charge them.
Crap on City. All right. Anyways, night moves. At the moment, I'll dive into mine quickly. I think I'm going to Konate. I think I'm going to add a 3rd Liverpool player. I think I'm going to go Lewis Hall out, Hausen. If only, Brian, there was a way to know how to say his name.
Hausen.
I think I'm going to bring him in for Lewis Hall.
Yeah.
And then I am trying to figure out, I will use a chip this week. Is it triple captain Salah or is it assistant manager? And I can't seem to figure that out. So that's where I am. Captain. Captain will be Salah. Duh.
Yeah. Same, Captain Salah. I also am making the Hall to Hausen move.
Okay.
I actually already just did it.
Nice.
So that is done. I think that's the only thing I'm doing this week, though. I might.
Are you on an assistant manager?
No, because I triple captained this last week.
Are you tempted to go assistant manager now that it's available to you?
I am, but
I think I would be if I was you.
But I'd have to take a hit in order to be able to afford anybody at this point. I've got money, but not enough. So, and I don't think I really want to do that. So probably not. I might do. Just call it that. Yeah.
Brian, do you think an assistant manager chip for Emery would be better than a triple captain on Salah this week? Like if I went Emery and then I remember and then I moved it around.
It's 3 weeks, right?
Yeah,
it's 3 weeks.
Right.
It's not just about this week. So Emery now,
right?
Plus the other 2 weeks of other choices
of someone else,
right? So you got to think about it that way. You're not just making the choice against this week triple captain. You're making this week triple captain against the next 3 weeks, which include a double for Emery, and then you could go.
Right, and then you could move it. You could stay on someone who's playing Southampton or someone who's playing Ipswich,
right,
or Leicester,
right. So Bournemouth, I think Bournemouth against Southampton wouldn't be a bad one, and then you could do Amarin against Ipswich.
Yeah. I got nothing. I have no idea.
Those would be those are going to net more than Salah on a double, right? This week, surely they are. Emery on a double.
Amarin.
Areola. Bournemouth against Southampton.
Oh, okay, you're right.
And then Amarin against Ipswich.
Right.
Like that's going to net more than.
It feels like a triple captain this week. That's a good point because I can captain Salah. Right. I can captain Salah.
Right. Which most people are going to do anyways, right?
Just as Villa, how many goals is Villa going to score? That's the problem. And you need him to Nottingham Forest. Anyways, all right, Travis. Brian, what are you doing?
I have to move Moyes. Again, the only injury update I can get for Trent is too early to tell. It won't take. The way Slot said it won't take months or even weeks, but it's only 3 days after Plymouth, so let's wait and see. We look long term.
He was stayed at home. I think he's fine.
We take no risks. If he's fit, then we'll use him.
I think he plays some part because he has to, because it's a derby. But I don't think he starts.
Yeah. So that's the thing. The biggest issue for me is like obviously I can't move him out this week, and then what does that mean for the double game week? So
it means you have to go with Emery, right?
Well, as long as I'm keeping Trent, then yes, it would be a move to Emery. So then it's where I need to make up 2/10. I am 2/10 short. So the quickest way to do that is Lewis Hall to Housen.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
And then Emery,
and then you have
Moyes to Emery.
Then you have some flexibility on the next one too, right?
Depending on who you've got, everyone's got Nottingham Forest players, or at least people are going back to it. I don't know how many people. What's an Arsenal ownership at this point? It feels like it seems like it's probably.
I don't know. I just sold my one Arsenal player.
Right, I was gonna say it's probably at its lowest.
I don't trust it right now. Any of them right now.
The most for any Arsenal player is probably Gabriel at 27.9, Raya at 25.8. But like this week, this is the week. You're at Leicester. So you've sold everyone's sold all of these. Havertz is at 8% selected. Your highest owned midfielder is still Saka at 8.9%. How dead are those teams?
That's crazy.
This is the deadest teams in history.
Wow.
No, what would you have said going into the City game that Trossard's only going to get a 2 in a 5-1 smashing?
Yeah, I would have guessed.
I wouldn't have guessed that. And I would not have guessed that at all. If I had told you Arsenal's going to win 5-1, Trossard's going to play 83 minutes, will his score be greater or less than 2.5?
Oh, I'd take the over on that.
You would have taken the over
a
billion years out
every
of a billion
time.
years. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like Trossard's got 2 blanks in a row, and you're about to play Leicester, and it seems like he's exactly the kind of guy. How bad is Martinelli hurt, by the way?
He's hurt good.
I was gonna say
he's out at least for a month. I mean, Arsenal is
it looked bad against Newcastle when he went.
He's pulled a hammy. By the way, official Emery's active. AM chip active. Emery's active.
Okay. All right.
I pulled the trigger.
Nwaneri. What's his name?
Nwaneri.
Is he a viable option with Martinelli out?
Absolutely.
He's pretty cheap, eh?
We need to look at. It's a good call. I should know it, and I don't. I'm going to it right now.
He's 4.5.
Yeah, that's.
He is a stud. He is Arsenal's new apple of the eye gem that can that very possibly. I'm not saying he's going to replace Saka's numbers, but I'm telling you what. I think he scored 8 goals in the season in all competitions.
Interesting.
So he's not a slacker.
No,
that is an interesting.
I'm just saying, like this week, like
he's listed as a midfielder, right?
Yeah, no one is. So is Lewis Skelly.
I will be not surprised if Nwaneri starts, and if he does,
he plays on the right though, and doesn't Martinelli usually play on the left?
Yep.
Do you think that means
Trosser
anything?
can play both? Trosser's been bouncing around.
Okay.
Nwaneri will start on the right, and Trosser would go to the left.
Skelly does it. Miles Skelly.
Miles Skelly's on the right, and he and Nwaneri are.
He's playing right back. Is what you're saying? Skelly is.
Yep. And wait a minute.
You called him a defender earlier, and I just seen him play as a winger.
He technically is a midfielder.
Yeah, I'd seen him play as a winger.
But for Arsenal this season, he's been playing as a defender all season. And
interesting.
Wait a minute, has Timber been playing on the right or left? Timber played
on the right.
On the right, then it's Miles Skelly on the left. Then
yeah, he was on the left. That's where he scored from.
Yes, that's correct. Because he cut in. He cut in on his right foot. So yeah.
I've got I have a Bruno Fernandes semi problem. Like I still have him. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they play at Tottenham. So it's
I'd play him.
It's the despair derby.
Yeah. But
still, that's what I'm saying.
Despair derby.
That's pretty good, Brian.
There
you go, Travis.
But I could sell.
You know what that is?
Yeah,
I'm saying it could be just to make up some money. It could be Bruno Fernandes out, Dango in, Semenyo.
Oh, that's a ton of money.
Right. That's basically $3. So that changes. I mean, if I was wild carding, I would probably make that move. I don't think I'd be keeping Bruno Fernandes. I was kind of curious what because I think depending on how you have your team set up, like if anything, you might have more of a selection headache this week, more than you have I've got some transfers I gotta make. Like the way my team is set up, I'm playing kind of who I have. It was more about the manager. It's more about shuffling around for the sake of, like I said, it's to find 2/10. So however I find that, Bournemouth is an easy one.
Yeah.
Because Bournemouth has Howson, even Kirk has only 5.
Dango's numbers have still been good.
That's the thing.
Even though it's just that one game of 21. Didn't you say his numbers have still been good?
His numbers are fine. Semenyo is the one who's still doing he's doing the most. So Kluivert's been more involved. It's just that Semenyo's numbers are for the season, it's Salah and Semenyo for midfielders. It's been like that all season. Semenyo's volume has been crazy. It's his output that's been lacking. It's just that Kluivert had those because he's on penalties.
Yeah.
And because he was a couple weeks ago, it was an open play goal. So it just kind of changed things. Dango came in all of a sudden into the picture because he had been playing well. As soon as the strikers went out, now Dango's filling that spot. So that's the thing. He's 5'1". That's the big difference. Is does that 0.5 between Dango and Semenyo, or the 0.8 that's between Dango and Kluivert now?
0.6 between Dango and Semenyo. Semenyo's 5'7".
Oh, he went to 5'7". Okay, yeah. So that's what I mean. It's what does that do for you? Mm-hmm. Do you need that extra? Do you need those tenths? I'm not sure how much you do. So if to me, I don't know. It's not like Semenyo. That's the thing. Even so, since the start of the new year, so the last 5 games, Semenyo 17 shots, Kluivert 14 shots, Dango 12 shots. But on XG, Semenyo 2.38, Kluivert 2.86, Dango 2.93. The highest XG of any of the players of the 3 midfielders is Dango.
Wow.
But Kleibert's outscoring them by 16 points in real life points.
Yeah.
But that's largely on the back of that hat trick that he had a few weeks ago.
I'm loving my Emery chip this week.
I'm just
2 home games. Let's go!
All of a sudden,
yeah.
Now you're a big Villa.
Typical Arsenal fan.
No, but I'm saying like
the funniest fan base ever.
It is pretty funny.
They're so silly.
No, for me, it's probably a similar type of problem because at active assistant manager chip, Moyes is out. I mean, hopefully tomorrow, maybe there's training pictures. Who knows? Maybe we get to see Trent in training if there's a sense that it's more like, yeah, he seems fine. It was more precautionary. We don't want to do anything. We're taking the long-term view with him or whatever. I'm just saying, like, that would be the decision.
No, I get it.
But the double game week for Trent, for people who do have Trent, for game week 25.
You got to watch the ticker.
Right. If he plays 25 minutes off the bench against Everton, you got to keep him, right? It would take re-injury or it would take a definitive he's out for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's been good. And he's motivated, I think, too. So we gotten through the January window. So
did you know Empire of the Cup tweeted this yesterday or a little bit ago? No, just that because they lost the FA Cup, or now that they're out of the FA Cup, Liverpool only play 4 fixtures in all of March.
Yeah.
What's that about? That doesn't seem...
That seems awesome.
That doesn't seem...
It seems awesome is what it sounds like.
Really? You don't want your guys like...
No. I want them fresh for when the fixtures do pile up.
All right. They're going to beat Southampton 13-0.
I hope so.
March 8th is Southampton.
I hope so, man. I hope so. Because we got a tough run towards the end of the season where we got to kind of go to everybody.
Your Champions League games could be extremely difficult. And then March 16th, Carabao Cup final.
A lot of tough games coming up.
Like, no offense, but go Newcastle. It'll be a good game. It should be a good game.
It always is. And there's always goals, right?
Great.
And there's also always what's his name? Jason Tyndale? Tyndale is his name? I think it's his name.
I have no idea.
No idea who you're talking about.
Really?
All right. Gentlemen, we covered Oreos. We covered
Tyndall, yeah, Jason Tyndall.
We covered FPL.
Their assistant manager that's like super
KFC,
like, in your face, always on the touchline, always getting in trouble because Eddie Howe is. You can only have one manager out at any given time. Tyndall's always like in everybody's face, getting in fights with people.
I like you like that. You like that.
He's a special guy.
Drives me Closet nuts. Magpie over here.
If there's any closet anything, it's you.
Like I was saying a minute ago,
Newcastle
Oreos.
Shirt.
True, I like that.
Oreos, FPL, KFC. Double down.
Girls,
double down.
basketball.
Double down is back.
The double down, yeah.
We didn't even get to creep into what you guys will love to hear, and we'll save it for next time.
You're gonna
because
forget
I
all
will
about
never
it.
forget about it. I can promise you that. In middle school girls basketball, but we covered a whole lot of things. I can't wait till actually go home and actually eat some food that's not Oreos, although it is very late, and I'm probably just going to go to bed. For the FPL America podcast, this is David Smith. Until next time.